Medication or medicine can be thought of as anything that can be used to cure, treat, or prevent disease. Food can be such a thing. When we talk or think about medication, it's usually prescription things or pills or potions that you get in the pharmacy or drugstore. But food can be used to cure, treat, or prevent disease as well. So food is medicine. Medicine is food. So today's topic is how to start building your healthy future with food. And I have for you 5 tips. Well, 6. One of them is a bonus. And I'll actually start with the one that I consider the bonus. And that is to ask yourself the question, what would Dr. Amina do? And I'm using myself because I see myself as a role model, but you can choose any person who you think is a healthy person who makes healthy decisions, and you can have them as your role model and say, what would that person do? So when you're kind of struggling with the decision, like what to eat, like, you know, what should I go to the fast food restaurant or whatever, and you're like thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, you know, but you're still kind of conflicted, and then you can ask yourself, what would Dr. Amina do? Or what would so-and-so do? Or whatever role model that you have identified as a person who you want to try to take a few pages out of their book to improve their health. And I find that when you ask yourself that question, it helps, like it literally helps you to pause and think carefully about whatever decision you are about to make, right? So that's the first tip that I have for you. It was kind of my bonus, but I decided to talk about that one first and use myself as the example of a possible role model, which, you know, I would hope that I am a positive role model for many of you. What would Dr. Amina do? The second thing is to have a written meal plan. You cannot have a a healthy future with food. To have a healthy future with food, like you have to have a plan of what you're going to eat. And if you know you're starting at point A and you want to get to point B, point A is not as good as you want it to be, but you want it to go to point B, you have to have a written plan of the foods that you're going to eat. If you do not have a written plan, you're not going to remember. Having a written plan means that you actually put some thought into it, and that way, you know, the night before you look and you see, okay, I'm eating this and that. And if you have other people in your house, you can come together and make a plan of what you're going to have for most of your meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between. You can write on that plan as well when you're planning to dine out, if it's every Thursday for lunch, every Saturday for dinner, whatever. But having a written plan helps tremendously, because without a plan, you often last minute follow the path of least resistance, which is often driving at the fast food drive-through or just kind of picking up some random packaged meal, dinner, microwave dinner, etc. Okay, have a written plan. Number 3, avoid liquid sugars. This is a huge one. You really want to avoid those things that are not going to contribute to health. And we know that sugar is one of the biggest thieves of our health, but one of the biggest health killers, I guess we can put it that way, right? Empty calories. Sugar is driving so much of the chronic diseases around. Diabetes, type 2 diabetes being one of the big ones, but many of the other lifestyle diseases, high blood pressure, heart disease, high levels of abnormal cholesterol, etc., right? So if you can really cut down on your liquid sugars, right? Drinks, sodas, juices, smoothies, those thick, like kind of super sweet coffee beverages, then you will be off to a really good start with your healthy future. 4, prepare more meals at home. Now, we're in like a convenient society where we are told, oh, don't worry about it, we will take care of it for you. And, you know, the system wants to take care of everything for us. But you know what? At the end of the day, we need to take more control of things that are important to us, right? Or important for us. And our food is very important for us. If you are eating out all the time, you have no control over what you are eating. I mean, you see things on the menu and, you know, the obvious things you can see, but then sometimes it's the additives, the sugar, the fillers, the preservatives, and those seemingly innocuous kind of invisible silent things are what will contribute over time to worsening health. Okay, so take more control of your meals and prepare more of your meals at home. With time, it'll become a little more automatic. And sometimes if you just tell yourself like this is the best thing to do, then you just do it because you know it's the best thing for you to do. Okay, number 5 is plan to have like 2 great meals per day. Like basically let the good outweigh the bad. So maybe you eat 3 times per day. If you can sort of aim to have 2 of those 3 meals be really wholesome, hearty meals, a good portion of vegetables, maybe half the plate if you're lucky, some good quality meat, and then if you have some starch, then maybe a complex starch, but certainly no more than quarter of your plate of starch. So maybe breakfast, the first meal, can be a really good hearty meal, and lunch and or breakfast and dinner, and maybe lunch you might kind of have, you know, something else you might have to bite out or whatever. But if you can plan to have most of your meals, 2 good meals per day, then you're off to a pretty healthy future with food, right? And then the last thing, the 6th point or tip, is to essentially just get to like more of the foods that you're not liking right now. And the only way for you to get to like those foods is to start eating them. You're never going to get to like something if you don't eat it, right? And I used the example in a video last week where for children, they don't like anything. They like milk and formula. Those things are really tasty, but you know that they need to wean off milk and formula and get onto real food. And in the beginning, they spit it out and they don't like this, they don't like that, but you don't just stop giving them and give them formula milk for the rest of their lives. You keep giving them all these different foods, you let them try all sorts of different things, and eventually they start eating them and liking them. And it's the same thing that's going to happen with you when you allow yourself to start eating these things and allow yourself to actually get to like them eventually, right? So those are 5, or rather 6 little tips that I have for you to get you to start building your healthy future with food. 1, ask yourself when kind of caught like with a hard decision of what to eat, what would Dr. Amina do? What would Dr. Amina do? 2nd, prepare more of your meals at home. 3rd, avoid liquid sugars. 4th, plan to have at least 2 good meals, good healthy hearty meals per day. 5, have a written meal plan. Write down all your meals, put it somewhere where you can see it, preferably on your refrigerator, somewhere in the kitchen, right? And then 6, just get to like more of the foods that you dislike by starting to eat them, and eventually you will get to like them. I hope you all found these tips helpful. And actually, I have something important to tell you, and that is that I am hosting the Eat More Way Less challenge once again. Basically, you're not eating enough. Like, you're eating, but you're not eating enough of the right things. And in this challenge, which is a 5-day life challenge, I'm going to teach you all about the types of foods you need to be eating to get the body and vitality that you've been yearning for. So if you're ready to get your health and vitality back, this is the place to be, right? Of course, it's a challenge, so it's going to be challenged, but you're not going to get anything worthwhile without a challenge, right? So there's a link below. You can click it and sign up for the challenge, and I look forward to seeing you all there. It starts August 8th, so don't miss it.